welcome back to Life with Keza, and I hope that you're doing well. And today I'm so excited to bring my guest who is going to share with us a lot of information, he's gonna educate us a lot, and I hope that you stay until the end of the video to hear what he has to teach us, what he has to say. And so I'm gonna go ahead and let him introduce himself, and we will continue.
All right, thank you for having me. My name is Douglas. I live here in Phoenix, Arizona, originally from DRC, Congo. I've lived all over the place, lived in Europe, in England, and finally here in the US.
Oh, welcome to the US. How long have you been here?
Oh, I've been here for a while now. I've been, I think, about almost 9 years now.
Oh, yeah. It's a long time.
It is, yes.
And what's your favorite thing about the US?
Well, there's a lot of good stuff in the USA, and they do also have some really bad stuff.
Yeah.
But I like the weather,
Yeah.
and I like the opportunities that this country provides.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm sure you don't miss the weather in Europe.
Don't really miss that much. I don't like the rain. I love the sun,
Yeah.
the desert heat.
Yeah.
I
Really?
enjoy that, yeah, I
Oh
love-
gosh, no. I mean, I don't like the snow, but the sun is too much also.
Yeah.
So I just want to thank you for taking the time to be here today.
Yes.
So I really want to just go ahead and get into our topic.
Yes.
And so today I wanted you to help us explain the origin of the Congolese Tutsi, because a lot of people seem to think that they immigrated from Rwanda to Congo.
Yeah.
They're refugees there. It's a lot of misinformation out there. So that's why I invited you to see if you can give us an overview
Yes.
of these people.
Okay. All right. No, thank you very much. Thank you for getting the courage to talk about this subject. It's very controversial at the moment because of the war that's currently taking place in the Congo. It shouldn't really be, but it's being used for political purposes, and there's a lot of tension in the air. But it's always very good to find some time and talk about the subjects objectively without having the pressure of wanting to belong to one group and do the other group. One thing that I could say to talk about the history of Tutsis in the Congo is a big subject, and it's not a subject that we can just discuss without bringing in all the data and going into details of it. But I'm sure the documentations are there for everybody to go and educate themselves. So today, we're just going to talk an overview of it, giving people the opportunity to give them something to use to go and find it for themselves, rather than relying on the mainstream media that uses issues and conflict
The
to drive their
regime that
agenda.
has been
Yes.
used for years.
Yes. So in terms of trying to, because of the length of the videos and the time that you have for us here, we're just going to be very direct. We're just going to talk about the point. The origin of the Tutsis in the Congo is as old as the continent and the country itself. Contrary to what people say, Congolese Tutsis are Congolese of origin, the Congolese of origin. They found themselves in the Congo when Congo became Congo, right? I'm not going to go into the details of other people that came to the Congo as part of migrations and wars, but if we're talking about the Congolese Tutsi, we can go back to the division of the borders since 1885, when the countries were divided. Congolese Tutsi, just like every other Congolese, every other tribe that you find in the Congo, found themselves in the Congo. So that should be that's the fundamental of it. If you take away all the layers and politics and everything, Congolese Tutsi are just like Bashi, they're just like Bafurero, they're just like Bembe, Baluba. They found themselves there when Congo became Congo.
Okay. Then why is there such a big problem for people to understand that?
So it's a good question. As I said, politics is something really, really bad. Politics people can use identity politics to divide people so that they can rule. Divide to conquer, divide to rule methodology. There's a drive by politicians and people with bad faith to use this rhetoric, these wars that currently people are dying, but they want to use it for their own benefit. So they create a narrative about Tutsis and they give them names like invaders, they give them names like refugees, they give them all sort of names so that they can isolate them, show them that this is the problem. They can probably, try to hide their own problem, the government's problems of resolving real issue the problem. They divert that into this is the problem. So if you can all focus on this problem, the Tutsi of Congo, your life is going to be better. And this is what we are. That's just an oversimplification of it. There's details of how we got there, which we can talk about it, but don't know if we have time to go into details of it, but we can touch it as we continue to talk. But the bottom line of the hatred that's over there is to do with political agendas, is to do with geopolitical situations in the area, and every leader that comes will want to exploit that issue to maintain themselves to the government, to the powers.
Okay.
Right.
There is something about the Congolese Tutsi that a lot of people, like a lot of other tribes in the Congo, just they just hate.
Yeah.
Why are these people hated so much? Is there something that they have, something that they have done? I heard people saying that they killed other people, they caused war. Is there something these people did to the rest of the Congolese that made them hate them so much, have this hatred to the point they kill them, they burn and eat them in front of the whole world? And people are not being, people choose to just look at it and ignore it. Is there a particular thing that these people did to everyone else that's causing that much hatred towards them?
Yeah. So that's a good question. It's a very sad reality that Tutsi people live in the Congo. There is nothing a whole tribe can do for them to deserve to be hated that much. There's nothing. In every single tribe, in every single situation, a crime is an individual crime. So if you commit a crime, you should be paying for that crime. I shouldn't be paying for your crime just because I am someone from your tribe, right? So that's one thing we put aside. The hatred of the Tutsis in the Congo has had it has been a gradual continuation of facts and wars and incidents, right? And those number of wars and the conflict that have been in the eastern part of Congo have created this symbiosis, and this is not just in eastern Congo, so this should be viewed as a regional thing. The Tutsis, I don't know if you know any history about the genocide in Rwanda, which is, we cannot go away from it if we want to talk about what's happening in the Congo, right? Because the hatred of a particular group of people became so bad that they murdered and killed over 1 million people in a period of 100 days, right? That's out there. It's fact. So that was the culmination of the hate. And if you look at the way that the hatred has moved from the area, as in Rwanda, and has transplanted into the Congo, right? And we can go into details about how that happened, but it's easy to see, it's easy to understand. These are bordering countries. Before the 1994 genocide, there were still issues. Tutsis were discriminated. When we talk about Tutsis, it's not just Tutsis. The Hemas in northern part in Ituri part of the country, we're also discriminated and are always being discriminated, right? So when we talk about Tutsi, we talk about Tutsi from northern Kivu and Banyamulenge in south of Kivu, right? So these people have been discriminated against for a long time, starting back in the 60s, right? And the fact that the Tutsis have a morphology that's a little bit distinct from all the other local tribe, Tutsis are easy to prey on. They're easy to identify, right? So because of their morphology, right? So the hatred started back in the 60s. I can go in details into wars that happened in the 60s, in the 80s, even 90s. And if we want to talk about what is currently taking place, we can, without ignoring all of that, but everything that started from the 60s has driven, and that's what we're living right now. The hatred is so bad that Tutsis are being killed and eaten alive. So they'll kill somebody, they'll cut him up and eat him on TV, on phone, and everywhere. Those are facts, and those are killing them are freely to do it. They're eating it, and then nothing happened to them, right? So that's a level of hatred that is there. So to try and understand why that happened, we need to look at the political history or the political troubles that have happened in the region, and from there you'll find the answer. But in any case, there is no justification for what they're doing. There is no justification at all.
It's crazy. Yeah. Also, it's crazy to me to see that they're being discriminated against like that, and the whole world is watching. And just like the genocide in Rwanda, when a lot of people were killed, the world was still watching. This is like the second genocide that's being done to the Tutsi, like a big one. So why is it that the rest of the world is just looking from like the sidelines and not really intervening and trying to resolve whatever problem there is?
That's a good thing. I want to bring it back a little bit, and I want to bring the notion of minority. And the reason why you have international laws that protect minorities, it's because of this type of things. You can go back to the history of the Jews, right? The Jews have gone through exactly the same things that the Tutsis are going through, right? And these are the people that have been exterminated just for being Jews. And they did that in Europe, where everybody was watching, the whole world was watching, but they didn't do nothing, right? So, and then I don't know whether that's after that the world decided to create laws that will protect minorities. Minorities are very vulnerable kind of people, and they're vulnerable because they did not have the voice of the majority to rally around. So the effort of a minority group to try and make the world understand their problem is very monumental, right? So if there's only 3 or 4 of you that are being killed in a country or in a room of 50, and everyone is saying that these people are not being killed, those 20 people are saying these people are lying, right? These 2 people that are being killed, are being persecuted, are lying. And only one of you will try to tell people that, no, we're saying we tell the truth. It's very difficult for a group or minority to have their concern and their voice heard outside because they're minority. Because everybody else, or the majority of people, are pointing there and say, you are the problem, you're lying, you're not doing it. And that's why it takes a lot of effort for the international community to try and understand the issue of these minorities, right? So that's one thing that I'm oversimplifying it, but there's a lot of lobbying, there's a lot of government efforts that they put in to trying to prove that what these people are saying is not true, right? And it's people like you and other people, and they're lucky now that we have the media, the social media, where people can come out there and talk about their truth, right? And people can talk about their history, rather than relying on other people to talk about your own history. So that is something that people should have and should understand, that it's very difficult for a minority to bring upon and show the world that we're being persecuted, whilst everybody else around them are saying,
Yes,
right?
yes. So as of right now, do you have any information if the international community is aware of the situation in the Congo? Because it's been going on for a while, and the longer it takes for them to interfere, the more people are dying. So do you know if they are aware of the situation at the moment?
Okay, so going back to this current situation that we are in at the moment, the international community are aware of it. They know what's happening, but today's world is full of interest, right? Government and international community look at their interest first, and once they know that this issue has my interest, they will invest into it. What's happening in the Congo, in eastern part of the Congo, is you have these minority, Banyamulenge in southern Kivu, Tutsi in northern Kivu, and Hema as well in Ituri. And these people have been banging on the international community. We are being persecuted
for years.
We've been killed. We've been displaced from our homes. There are refugees camps in Burundi. There are over 100,000 refugees in Rwanda, over 80,000 in Burundi, and over, I don't know the number in Uganda as well. These are refugees from the eastern part of the Congo who have been refugees for over 30 years, right? But the international community knows about it, and they know about it. The Congolese government knows about it, but they've never done anything to try and return them into the other hand. And the reason why they do that is because it's not in their interest for the Tutsis and Banyamulenge and Hema to go back into the areas, right? Because those areas sometimes been occupied by other people. So they know the problem. The current government of DRC is deploying enormous amount of money to lobby about what's happening. They've switched the narrative. It's no longer an issue with Tutsi being killed or of the revendication of these minorities. Now they've turned it to, they're calling it a war of minerals, right? They will try and bring a narrative which they're going to drive to the Western world, saying like, no, what's happening is these people are fighting because they want gold, because they want coltan, so they drive that narrative so that it's difficult for the international community to see the real causes of this problem. The real cause of the problem is not a regional war, it's not one country invading another country to take the minerals. It's a group of minority represented by the M23, IFC, and Twigwaneho. These are groups that are fighting for their survival, wanting to tell people, listen, we have the right to be here. You should hear us. We want you to come to the negotiation table and we talk about us and the way that we're going to live in this place peacefully. But the government of the United States, yes, it does not want that, and he's selling a story about, no, this is Rwanda attacking this country to take minerals.
And I noticed that ever since the M23 and Twigwaneho and AFC, stood up to fight for their rights, and it started to gain international's attention to the point where Randy Jackson, I'm not sure if you saw that, he was able to travel to Africa to the different countries and observe by himself, and he came back and gave us like an overview of what he saw. What was your reaction towards his observation?
Well, to be honest, that observation was very welcomed, especially at this particular time, but he was only saying the obvious. Everybody knows it's the obvious. That's the real reality of the issue. The Congo has a vulnerability, and that vulnerability will always going to be exploited by everybody else. And that vulnerability is the inability of the Congolese government to guarantee security to its minority in the eastern part of the Congo. If you do not resolve that issue, there will always be a group of people, a group of organizations who are going to exploit that loophole to do whatever they want to do. So that vulnerability is right there. What he was just highlighting was, he was trying to highlight to the world that you are looking at the wrong place. This is where you should be looking at, right? All these issues can be resolved if you can resolve this vulnerability that the Congo government has. And the message was sent, even though the Congolese government was trying to discredit his message, but the message is gone, and everybody knows that's the reality. It's just that politicians will use any loophole, any issue thing that they can use to turn the message around and paint a different picture.
Yeah. So that message that he gave, do you think that should give us hope of maybe getting help from other people, or should we continue to do what we're doing?
Well, tell you what, I think there's we have hope, and hope is given to us. The hope is we ourselves, and we have a God. Our God will always going to fight for us. I remember a message that Moise Nyarugabo and Mental Rubegwa talked about in different interviews. What Rubegwa said was that we only have one government, and that one government is the Congolese government. The Congolese government should give us protection. If the Congolese government does not protect us, our God will give us that protection. And right now what we're seeing is we're seeing the work of God being done through the people that is entrusted into trying to give us our right back in Congo. So we have people I know that's been fighting for 7 years. Auto defense, defending the mothers and fathers who are in Minembwe for a constant barrage of war and killing, and a government supporting militias to come and destroy the life of Banyamulenge. You'll see that in northern part, in Masisi and Ruchuru, where the villages, the Tura villages, burned completely, and refugees of Tutsis in north have been displaced into. And if you go into Ituri, you see the Codeco militia coming and killing the Hemas every single day, right? But nobody's done anything for 7 years or 8 years, right? So it's very, we might want to hope that a force from outside will come and help us, but in reality, it's us, it's our effort, it's our force, it's our intelligence, it's our diligence to make sure that we continue to fight for our right until we get it. Yeah.
And we really appreciate all those people who gave their lives to protect us and fight for our rights, like the guys in Twigwanyo and the guys in M23. Those are just ordinary guys like us who gave themselves to fight for our rights because we deserve that right. So as we end this conversation that we're having, I want you to go ahead and give us a message, give the youth a message. What can they look forward to? What do they need to work towards to help contribute to this, to this conflict that we have been going through for so long?
Yes, I think the message has to be a very direct message to the youth, right? Youth, Banyamulenge youth, Tutsi youth, Hema youth, right? And we are not trying to discourage other groups, and we have to understand that Congo has over 100 million, 100 million people. It's not all of them that hate us, right? And we encourage other Congolese tribes to look beyond the rhetorics, to look behind what's being told by the government, and come to meet us and listen to us and hear us and see what we're talking about. And these people, those who are willing to participate and help, but the effort, the majority of the effort will come to us. So our youth should start learning about their history, and they should start owning their history, and they should start telling their own history, right? We need to be, and I really encourage youth from what you're doing, and every other youth that have the opportunity to tell a message. You need to own your own history and story and tell it. That's your truth, and nobody has the right to tell you to take that truth away from you. And we need to start understanding that this is the moment for us to be able to say, okay, we participated in fighting for our freedom. Those who are back home who decided to join the Twigwanyo and the M23, those are our kids, the brothers and cousins. We talk to them every day, right? They live their lives wherever they are and decided to join. It's not because they enjoy to go and die. They do it for a reason, right? And that reason is to make sure that one day we should be able to have a home that is free of discrimination, right? I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to take my kids on vacation to Minembwe. I want to get my son and get a flight and go to Minembwe for vacation. Right now I cannot do it, and I haven't been able to do it I was born and left Minembwe when I was 2 years old. I have not been able to set foot in Minembwe, right? For various reasons, right? And security reasons is one of them, right? So for our youth need to understand that this is their moment. They need to take it. Those who are here in the United States, in Canada, in Europe, use your platform like what you're doing. Spread the message. Ensure that we are preaching peace. We have enough interest to ensure that peace is in our country. Once we have that peace, then you will say that I participated and I did my best to make sure that this peace that I'm enjoying, I had fight for it. So the message to our youth is fight for your right, own your history, your story, tell your story, ensure that and follow up to ensure that what you're doing is being implemented back home. So the message to the world and other Congolese that are listening to me, try to take the layers off the talking point. Understand where we come from. Come to us, listen to what we're saying, and follow that up. Let's have a conversation, let's have a discussion, let's have a moment where we can share the ideas. We may not agree with everything, but we have to be able to have a common ground so that we can build a peaceful society, a peaceful country that both of us can share. And that love can help us to live a very peaceful in our country. That's the message that I could give today.
That's a really good message, and I really enjoyed the fact that you said that we need also have our home where we can take our children. For example, for me, I came here as a child, not because of my choice or my parents' choice. It's because we were chased away from our home. So I never got the opportunity to grow up in my home country because of the war and how everything, they were trying to kill us. So to me, I do also encourage the youth to use their voice and be proud of their country, be proud of their origin, because if you don't fight for it right now, your kids will never see where they're from. So I really like the message that you gave us, and I just really want to thank you for coming. I enjoyed talking to you, and I hope that the next time I invite you, you are more than willing to come and talk to us again, because this was really interesting and so informative. And so thank you so much for coming today.
No, it was my pleasure. And unfortunately, this was just an overview. I may have spoken in vague, I may have spoken in general, but it's always very good to have another time that we can talk and go into details. Discuss one particular moment to another particular moment with the data that we can have, right? And that will give your viewers enough information to go into their own research, right? But I enjoy talking to you, and I encourage you to continue to talk about the issues that are at your heart, and to encourage other youth to ensure that to talk and make sure that their message is heard. Is heard the way they want it to be heard. Removing all the rhetorics and all the hate and everything, we just want to make sure that our message is heard, so that people who are acting and who are fighting in those wars can understand that at some point they need to sit down on the table, discuss peacefully, and create environment where everybody can live in peace.
Yes, I totally agree. Thank you so much again for coming. We look forward to having you back. I will for sure. But for the rest of the youth, we encourage you guys to stand up and fight. This is the time to fight, and this is the time to speak the truth, and also the time to sit down and resolve the issue, instead of like using guns and killing each other. That doesn't really help in anything. But I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will see you on the next video. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do so, comment and share. You have a great day.
All right, take care.